This training module will provide an overview of the second component to the Connecticut Comprehensive School Counseling Framework: Build, Implement, and Monitor. Build, Implement, Monitor is a continuum. Schools can assess the status of their own programming to determine where to start in the process of developing a school-specific framework. School counselors must have systems in place that are focused, student-centered, and well-planned to run smoothly and effectively. Not all schools will have the same process or priorities. However, all school counseling departments need to build a strong foundation, develop their core beliefs, vision, and mission, identify student needs, implement programming, and monitor the impact of the programs on student success in a systemic manner. Activities in Build, Implement, and Monitor are those that help counselors construct the foundation of the CCSCF and to put the framework in place. The tools and resources in this component help schools assess the status of their own programming in order to determine where to start in the process. As you work through this section of the framework guide, please note the checklist to help you access the resources. In the Build section of this component, we'll review beliefs, vision, and mission, and annual school counseling framework assessment. In the Implement section, we'll review needs assessments and data, calendars and implementation guide, and the Monitor section includes advisory council, annual school counseling framework assessment, and goal setting. The first part of the Build section in this component is the development of a common set of beliefs, vision, and mission, which are all necessary to create a solid foundation on which to build the school and/or district's counseling framework. First, you must think about your core beliefs. Beliefs are a shared set of thoughts and principles that school counselors hold true about the role they play in a school. Examining and reflecting upon beliefs about students, families, teachers, and the educational process is imperative. Unexamined beliefs can lead to inequities and limited access for some students. Belief statements include the school counselor's convictions about the ability of all students to achieve and that the school counseling framework is for all students. Some examples of belief statements are: all students can achieve success. We are advocates for family, students, staff, and our profession. Once a common set of beliefs is determined, you can begin work on your vision statement. A vision statement projects what students will know, understand, and be able to do as a result of participating in the school counseling programming. Vision statements often project 5 to 15 years into the future and are believable and achievable, and should align to the school and district vision statements. It also should be informed by your department's beliefs. A sample vision statement could be: every student will acquire the academic, career, and social-emotional skills to reach their fullest educational potential and live as healthy, responsible, competent, and productive citizens who respect themselves and others. Adapted from Lugoff-Elgin Middle School Counseling. Again, the elements in the vision statement go back to that shared set of beliefs about students and illustrate the vision of what those beliefs look like in action. Finally, the mission statement provides the focus and direction to reach the vision. A mission statement defines the objectives of the school counseling department and outlines the path school counselors will take to reach those objectives. It should be clear and concise and should align with the school's and district's mission, emphasize equity, inclusion, and access, and long-range success. Once developed, a mission statement should sound something like this. The mission of the Lugoff-Elgin Middle School Counseling Department is to provide high-quality, comprehensive school counseling services with equitable access to all students. Our services are designed to help all students develop and enhance their academic, social, career, and personal strengths in order to become responsible and productive citizens for the 21st century. In partnership with other educators, parents, and/or guardians and the community, professional school counselors strive to ensure that all students at LEMS develop the skills, knowledge and understanding necessary to be successful in our changing society. The vision and mission statements build off of the common set of beliefs, but are specific and clear on how those beliefs will be upheld. The School Counseling Framework Assessment, found in the CCSCF Guide, Appendix F, evaluates the degree to which school counselors have implemented a framework that is aligned with the CCSCF. This assessment guides program design and development and helps the school counseling department analyze annual progress. The results of the assessment provide school counselors with information on strengths, opportunities for growth, and gaps in their framework. Additionally, the information gathered can be used to revise annual goals and establish priorities. Working through the School Counseling Framework Assessment, school counseling teams review and evaluate their progress on key elements of each CCSCF component area. For each element, the team will determine if it is implemented, in progress, or not started at all. This assessment should be done annually to set goals for the year and to evaluate progress made over time. The second part of this component is implement. To implement your framework, you will need to first look at the needs of your school by conducting needs assessments and collecting data. The implementation of the CCSCF expects every student to be served equitably based on informed data decision-making. These data, disaggregate and aggregate, are analyzed and used to address the needs of students and provide the right interventions and supports to remove barriers that impede learning. School counselors can survey families, students, faculty, and other school community stakeholders to determine topics and concerns that are important to the education community. The data from surveys help school counselors plan the type of services to include in their school's CCFCF, including designing curriculum for school counseling lessons, small groups, and family programs. Needs assessment data can also be used to help school counselors select which student competencies from the CCSCF student standards are appropriate for students in their schools. Sample needs assessments for middle school students, high school students, and families can be found in Appendix I of the CCSCF. Student needs assessments should always be given with guidance in order to ensure students understand the statements. An electronic version where the data can be easily collected is preferred, but paper versions work as well. School counselors use data to help determine the needs of the student and school community and to drive the focus of the framework in their schools. The school counselor and the school data teams use multiple data points to assess student needs, identify priorities, and develop a plan of action to address the identified needs. School data profiles contain information about trends in student academic performance, graduation rates, behavior, attendance, and other relevant topics that can help school counselors have a better understanding of their student body. Many of the elements in achievement and behavioral data are useful for counselors to help plan programming and to evaluate their impact on students. Counselors can find data on the levels of college and career readiness of students, school discipline, chronic absenteeism, and much more in their district by visiting EdSite and the Early Indicator tool on EdSite Secure. Calendars are not only a useful tool for school counselors to use to organize their time during the school year, but also to help inform students, families, faculty, and other community stakeholders about the types of school counseling programming that will be offered and when it will occur. In addition, calendars will ensure that there will be consistency among school counselors in implementing the framework. There are two different types of calendars school counselors should develop: annual and weekly or monthly. The annual calendar is highly detailed and includes specific examples with dates and times for all major activities, events, and services within the comprehensive school counseling program during the school year. Sharing this calendar with the school community at the beginning of each school year will aid in immersing the CCSCF into the culture and set expectations for the school each year. There are sample annual calendars for elementary, middle, and high school in Appendix H of the CCSCF. The second calendar is a weekly or monthly calendar. This is an individual calendar for each counselor that allows them to track day-to-day activities as well as direct and indirect student services. Keeping this type of calendar is helpful to structure the work week, but also gives school counselors easier access to use of time data to analyze how much of their time is spent delivering different components of the school counseling framework. Weekly calendars can be kept on paper or electronically, whatever is most convenient for the school counselor to ensure that it is being maintained. The Implementation Guide Action Plan is a checklist and action planning tool that can be used by multiple stakeholders to successfully implement the CCSCF. School counselors and school counseling departments who have a comprehensive program in place but need to transition their program to match the new framework can use the checklist to guide their work. For districts that do not currently have a school counseling framework in place, the checklist can help school counselors collaborate with boards of education and/or administrators to build their framework. The action planning tool will assist with creating a timeline to prioritize and complete all necessary steps. The implementation guide is broken down into several categories of actions to complete in order to effectively implement the new framework. It is divided into actions that will build the foundation of the framework, assist in the design and planning of the program, guide implementation, delivery and evaluation, and aid in sustaining the framework over time. Once you have identified the gaps in your framework, you can use the Implementation Guide Action Plan template to establish what your priorities are and create a timeline over the course of 3 years to meet your action plan goals and identify who will be responsible for each action item. School counselors should set SMART goals annually to help monitor the impact of the school's framework to help guide the implementation of school counseling programming. The last part of this component is monitor. We'll review advisory councils, annual school counseling framework assessment, and goal setting. An important element in any school counseling framework is consistently monitoring the programming and services to ensure that the framework is meeting the needs of the school community effectively. The formation of an advisory council is one strategy to achieve routine monitoring of the framework. Having an advisory council is an important step in seeking external support for the development and implementation of a comprehensive school counseling framework. The council serves as a sounding board and offers feedback on framework development, programming, and outcomes. The council is critical at the beginning of the comprehensive school counseling framework development process and becomes a supportive link to the framework and to the counselors once the framework is fully implemented. When deciding who should be part of the advisory council, it is recommended to include a diverse group of members in order to provide various perspectives on the school counseling program. Members of the advisory council include those who receive direct and non-direct services from the counselors, teachers, administrators, community members, Board of Education members, families, and students. Earlier in the module, we discussed using the school counseling framework assessment as a means to build. Within Monitor, the same tool can and should be used to monitor progress towards full implementation with fidelity. The last section of Monitor is goal setting. School counselors should set goals annually to help monitor the impact of the CCSCF. Goals help guide the implementation of school counseling programming and can be used by school counselors to close identified achievement gaps among groups of students in their schools. A written goal statement or statements provide a clear declaration of the general outcomes to which the school counseling framework is committed. The goals answer the questions, what do counselors want students to know and be able to do as a result of their participation in the school counseling framework? And how are students better off as a result of the school counseling framework? When setting goals, school counselors should look to all sources of information and data that will assist them in answering those two questions. This includes the school counseling framework assessment, needs assessments, and the school data profile. Once data is collected, goals should be written in the SMART goal format so that they are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. SMART goals will be discussed more in the evaluation module. Let's take a few minutes to check our understanding.